Have you ever, scrolled through your feed, seen someone posting that amazing laptop on a beach picture and felt that pull,
Oh, yeah, that dream.
that thought, that's it. I'm going to launch my own online business, work from anywhere, you can finally be the boss.
It's a really powerful vision, isn't it? The whole online marketplace thing, it promises so much freedom, so much flexibility.
Totally. But here's the thing, the bit that often gets glossed over, while
Mhm.
the dream, very real. The idea that achieving it is somehow easy. That's the misconception. That
Exactly.
you can just throw up a basic website and boom, the money starts rolling in.
And that's where people get tripped up,
Hmm.
right there. So many promising online ventures just fizzle out because of that assumption.
It's a really common pitfall, isn't it?
Absolutely. Look, an internet marketing business, big or small, it's open to all sorts of setbacks. It's not just about having a great idea or something you're passionate about. It's fundamentally about having a strategy, a proven approach that works for the online world specifically.
Precisely. And that right there is what this deep dive is all about today. We're aiming to cut through all that noise, bypass the hype,
Get straight to the point.
yeah, and zero in on the core proven steps for not just starting, but actually succeeding with an internet marketing business. We're drawing really heavily today from this fantastic source, Internet Marketing Fast Start. It lays out a clear, actionable roadmap.
And our mission, really, for you listening, is to pull out those essential nuggets of knowledge. These aren't just random tips. These are the critical things that will make the difference between a successful online business and one that just disappears.
Gets lost in the noise.
Yeah. We're going to highlight those tried and tested procedures, the tools that, as the source points out, are backed up by countless success stories online.
And right at the very heart of it all, that first interaction, your website.
Mm-hmm.
Our source calls it your first contact point, your digital handshake, basically your online storefront. So the big question is, how do you make sure that storefront isn't just there, but it's attractive, trustworthy, and actually, profitable?
That's what we need to unpack step by step.
Exactly. Let's dive in, starting right at the beginning.
Okay.
So keeping that big dream of online success in mind, where do we even start? The source says it's maybe not where most people think. It's about this foundational step,
Mm-hmm.
finding your niche, finding your product, but with a twist, a really counterintuitive one.
Yeah, this is fascinating. The source calls it the market first philosophy, and it's a total shift for a lot of beginners.
Okay.
It says flat out, the very first step isn't coming up with a product. It's doing a thorough study to find a need, an existing need in a specific market.
Right. Not, I have a cool idea, who wants it?
Exactly. That's the usual way, isn't it? You fall in love with your idea, you build it, and then you try desperately to find people to buy it.
Which sounds risky.
It often is. It's like building a bridge hoping a river shows up. This source says passion is great, but starting with the market need first. That avoids that huge pitfall.
So it's not about being passionate about a product right away, but finding a problem, a pain point people already have. That feels like flipping the script.
It absolutely is flipping the script. The source is really clear. The market always comes first before the product. It's a core principle. It connects demand directly to what you offer.
Okay.
Think about it like a hungry crowd. You don't just cook your favorite meal and hope they like it, right?
No, you find out what they're actually hungry for.
Precisely. You find out what they're craving, then you provide it. By starting with a market need, you're not just guessing, you're solving an identified problem for a specific group.
Which massively increases your chances.
Dramatically. Because you're tapping into something people are already looking for, already trying to solve, especially if they've, struggled to find good solutions before. You're building that bridge exactly where they need to cross. Guarantees traffic from the start.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense. So how do we actually do that? How do we become this digital detective and find these needs? It sounds good in theory, but practically.
Right. The source gives 3 really strong practical strategies. First, online forums.
Forums, like Reddit or niche industry forums.
Exactly. Think of them as gold mines. Unfiltered information, direct feedback. Your job is to find forums related to your interests or potential industries and just listen.
Lurk, basically.
Pretty much. You're observing. Paying, as the source says, special attention to the questions people keep asking, the frustrations they're venting, the problems they discuss over and over, and crucially, the solutions they're looking for or complaining they can't find.
It's like eavesdropping on a huge focus group.
That's a perfect way to put it. You identify these common issues, these shared problems, and that gives you massive clues about what kind of product or service could genuinely help them. You'll see threads like, I wish there was an easier way to do X, or has anyone found a solution for Y? Everything's too complicated.
Those are the signals.
Those are your cues. Big flashing signals.
Brilliant. Tapping into conversations already happening. Okay, what's strategy number 2 for this detective work?
Strategy 2 is using search engines for strategic keyword research.
Ah, keywords, SEO stuff.
Yes, but with a specific focus. It's not just finding popular keywords. That's a common mistake. The source advises looking for keywords searched by a lot of internet users, but which very few sites are competing for.
High demand, low supply.
Exactly. High search volume means people want it. Low competition means there's an unmet need or the market isn't saturated. It's like finding a really fertile plot of land that hardly anyone else is farming.
Okay.
Lots of people looking, not enough businesses providing it well or ranking for it. That's your ideal entry point. Much easier to get noticed.
Like finding buried treasure nobody else dug up yet. I like it. Okay, and the third strategy. Because surely someone is usually doing something in this space, right?
Good point. Strategy 3 is competitor analysis.
Right. Checking out the competition.
But it's a two-sided coin. First, you learn from the best. Go to your potential competitors' websites, look really closely at how they're meeting customer demands. What are they doing well?
But not just copying them.
Definitely not just copying. It's about understanding market expectations. Then you figure out how to create something better, more refined, for that existing market. Maybe you can offer something a little more, like the source says.
Like a better feature or better service.
Could be anything. Better features, amazing customer service, a simpler interface, a unique guarantee, something that gives you an edge. For example, maybe their online course is popular, but forums show people wish it had more practical exercises. Boom, there's your opening.
So improving on the existing wheel, not reinventing it necessarily, makes sense. What's the second benefit of looking at competitors?
The second benefit is finding actual market gaps. By seeing what competitors offer, and just as importantly what they don't offer, you might spot an entirely new market that had not been discovered by competitors.
A whole new niche.
Could be. A niche they missed, a specific group they aren't serving well, or a related problem their products don't solve. Maybe they have a complex tool for big companies, but freelancers are tearing their hair out needing something simple and cheap.
So that frustration points to your unique offering.
Exactly. It leads you to a new angle, maybe even a whole new market segment that's just waiting for your solution.
Okay, so you've done the detective work. You found the need, the gap. You know who you're targeting. Then you match a product to that demand. What about passion? You mentioned it earlier. How does that fit in now?
Right. It's a balance, a crucial one. So after you've identified the need, the next step is finding the product or service that fits. The source warns this can be a confusing stage. Beginners might get distracted by shiny new ideas and stray from that market focus.
Easy to do, I imagine.
Very. And this is where passion becomes key. The advice is clear. Stick to the products you are passionate about. Passion wasn't step 1, market demand was. But passion is vital for the long haul.
For sticking with it.
Exactly. For pushing through challenges, for genuinely believing in what you offer. If you're not passionate, building this business becomes a chore. And that lack of enthusiasm, it shows in your marketing, your product quality. It makes it harder to connect. Passion is the fuel for the long game.
Got it. Passion is the fuel. Market demand ignites it. So you find that product you're passionate about that meets the need. How do you make sure it's got legs, that it's not just a fad?
And that brings us to the feasibility study. The source really stresses this. You need to check not just if the market exists now, but its potential for growth. Does your product have a real future? Can the business scale?
Thinking long-term from the start.
Absolutely. And tied to that is constantly looking at what competitors are doing, not just initially, but ongoing. You need to understand what you have to keep adding onto your products to give them a competitive edge. Why should someone choose you? What's your unique value? That differentiation is everything online.
Which leads perfectly into pricing. That's a whole art form, isn't it? Not just picking a number.
Oh, definitely. The final piece of this foundation is pricing correctly. The source says, do a wide market analysis. See what others in your space are offering, and crucially, what they're charging. What are the ranges?
So research first. No guesswork.
No guesswork, it's strategic. This helps you find the sweet spot for your own price so you're not wildly out of line with similar quality stuff.
The source mentions a Goldilocks rule too.
Yeah.
Never charge too much or too little. How does that work strategically?
It's about hitting that just right zone. It's tricky. Some beginners think pricing lower attracts sales. Others think pricing higher signals quality.
Both could work, depending.
Right, they can be strategies, but the main point is avoid the extremes. Too high, you scare people off if they don't see the value. Too low, it can scream cheap, ironically making people distrust it or devalue your brand. It's a perception game.
And it's not just the number itself, it's about perceived value, right? The source really hammers this.
Absolutely critical and
Yeah.
often missed. People don't just see a price tag, they mentally weigh it. What benefits do I get for this price?
The internal cost-benefit calculation.
Exactly. If the perceived benefits feel less valuable than the price tag, even if it's technically fair, they won't buy. Simple as that. So for new businesses especially, you have to make sure your price is clearly aligned with the projected benefits the customer expects.
So if it's expensive, you better show why it's worth it.
You got it. Premium software. Highlight the quality, the time saved, the amazing support. If it's priced low but doesn't deliver, that kills trust fast. It's all about that clear connection. Value proposition matches price point in the customer's mind.
Okay, market found, need identified, product crafted, priced strategically. What's next? The actual storefront. Your website.
Yeah,
Because the best product in the world is useless if the shop looks terrible or no one can find it.
precisely. The website is absolutely paramount. The source keeps coming back to this. It's your first contact point, your online storefront, which means it must be designed in the most attractive way to attract potential customers.
Not just pretty, but attractive in a way that builds trust and guides them.
Exactly. It's about professionalism, trust, and making their journey seamless. It's your silent salesperson working 24/7.
And the source mentions proven tips for making a website truly effective, not just functional. Let's get into those principles. User experience is everything online, right? People click away so fast.
So fast. Okay, first principle. Simple and clear navigation. Non-negotiable.
We've all been lost on websites.
Haven't we just? Clicking around, getting frustrated. The source insists navigation must be simple and clear, and critically, the same on each of the pages.
Consistency.
Yes, universal navigation. It builds familiarity, makes it easy to move around, find info, and not get discouraged. Complicated navigation. It's a guaranteed way to lose people before they even see what you offer.
Definitely felt that pain. Okay, what about media? Videos, audio, graphics, they're everywhere.
The source has a very specific rule here, and it's broken all the time. Only use them if they genuinely enhance the message being passed across.
If they serve a real purpose.
Exactly. If they don't add value, they become clutter, obsolete. They make the site lose taste and direction, seem ambiguous. Think auto-playing videos or distracting animations.
Ugh, yeah,
Annoying.
totally. They look unprofessional, slow things down, drive people away. But used correctly, like a clear explainer video or great product photos, they're incredibly powerful. They kill the monotony of written messages, make things more engaging, easier to grasp. It's about being intentional.
Purpose over decoration. Got it.
Yeah.
Now, making things easy, the source mentions a 5-click rule for buying something. That sounds pretty specific.
It is, and it's vital. It's all about minimizing friction in the buying process. A visitor should be able to complete a purchase in not more than 5 clicks once they decide to buy.
5 clicks max.
Max.
Yeah.
That means clear purchase buttons, a logical checkout flow, easy steps. Every extra click is a chance for them to hesitate, get distracted, leave. More than 5. You're seriously risking losing sales just because it feels too complicated or takes too long. Smooth and effortless is the goal. Makes sense. Streamline that path to conversion. Now, beyond the sale, how do you build that ongoing relationship? Because one sale is good, but loyalty is where it's really at.
That's where opt-in offers come in. Absolutely crucial for collecting email addresses, but with consent.
The permission part is key.
Hugely key. When people type in their emails, subscribe to your newsletter or updates, they're giving you permission to send mails to them. This gives you their contact details, like the source says, letting you send targeted updates, valuable content, promotions directly to their inbox. It's the start of a real conversation.
And finally, the homepage itself. The front door, what absolutely has to be there.
Right, the grand entrance. It's the storefront, so it has to be appealing. But beyond looks, it needs clear descriptions of your product services and their benefits, like a compelling summary.
Instantly answer, what's in it for me?
Exactly. It needs all the necessary information for someone to quickly figure out if you can meet their needs. That means your business name, clear contact info, what you offer, maybe even prices, transparency, immediate value, make them want to explore more.
Okay, so those are the core principles, the what and why of an effective website. But the big how, actually building it, the source dives into a whole toolbox of specific web design tools that can feel overwhelming.
It can, yeah. The landscape is huge and always changing. The source acknowledges numerous web design tools, new ones popping up constantly. Some are fully free, which is great for startups. Others have periodical subscriptions. Basically, there's something for every business, no matter its budget or needs.
So let's break some of these down. What kinds of tools are we talking about, and what do they help with?
Okay, let's group them a bit. First, for collaborative design and prototyping tools to quickly visualize and share ideas. There's Atomic, which is browser-based, works on PC Mac. You can design, then share mockups for review on loads of devices, even an Apple Watch. Great for client feedback or showing devs.
Getting everyone on the same page visually.
Exactly. Then there's Form, which Google bought, good for prototyping with animation and interactive effects. And Avocode is mentioned as great for bridging that designer-developer gap. It exports Sketch Photoshop files with layers intact, making handoff smoother, plus it has collaboration features.
Streamlining that workflow. Okay, what about keeping the brand looking consistent?
For style guides and branding, Frontify gets a shout-out. It's free, helps create comprehensive guides for colors, fonts, etc., ensuring the whole team is consistent. It also has a workspace tool for sharing designs, getting approvals, adding comments. Super useful for keeping branding tight.
Consistency is key for looking professional. What about tools for people who are visual, but maybe not coders, or want to build responsive sites easily?
Right. For visual design with code awareness, Macaw is interesting. It looks a bit like Photoshop, but generates HTML and CSS as you design. Good for quick wireframes, mockups, prototypes, especially for UI demos. It's free and helps create responsive designs with customizable breakpoints so your site looks good everywhere.
Nice. And anything specifically strong for Apple users or wireframing?
Yeah, Origami. It was developed by Facebook, used for Messenger, Instagram, so you know it's focused on user experience. It's mainly for iOS Mac, integrates with Sketch, good for wireframing and prototyping.
Coming from Facebook, that's a strong pedigree. What about totally code-free prototyping, especially for mobile?
For code-free prototyping, Marvel is highlighted. It's code-free, collaborative, has a neat feature using timers for page transitions and prototypes. You can view mock-ups on different devices too. And Pixate is mentioned for simplifying mobile app creation without coding. You design and demo by connecting your phone or tablet to your desktop. Both make visualizing mobile experiences much easier.
Making mobile design accessible. Cool. What if you need to show ideas to people who aren't tech-savvy, like in a presentation?
Good question. For presentation-focused prototypes, Power Mockup is specifically designed for PowerPoint. Perfect for showing website or app ideas to, say, stakeholders who might not get complex design software. It has over 800 drag-and-drop UI elements made from PowerPoint shapes. You build the visual prototype right in the presentation.
It's clever building it right into PowerPoint.
Yeah.
What about getting feedback integrated with team chat, like Slack?
For integrating design feedback into platforms like Slack, Relay is mentioned, especially for Slack users. It pulls designs from tools like Adobe CC or Sketch into Slack faster. You can take screenshots, annotate, comment right there in Slack, keeps the feedback loop tight and centralized.
Definitely helps avoid endless email chains.
Okay.
Is there like an all-in-one package mentioned, something good for general design, maybe for WordPress users?
Webflow gets described kind of like that, an all-in-one package. It simplifies things by using drag and drop instead of complex drawing tools. Lots of templates, free and paid. It's apparently efficient even for WordPress users, letting you make interactive theme prototypes. Very visual, very powerful. And for super quick wireframes on your phone, Wireflow is mentioned as useful once you get the hang of it.
Webflow sounds like a strong contender.
Yep.
And lastly, the source mentioned one tool aiming to be a Photoshop killer. That sounds serious.
Yeah, that's Affinity. Described as the ultimate Photoshop killer, great for graphic and web design. It features non-destructive layers, meaning you can tweak images and vectors without messing up the original, perfect for image-heavy sites. And get this, it has a 1,000% zoom.
1,000,000%.
Yep, highest recorded for web design tools. Amazing for super detailed vector work. Plus, it has history undo for over 8,000 steps. That level of precision and control is huge for creating a really polished, professional look.
Wow. Okay, that's an incredible range of tools. So you pick your tools. How do you actually use them? What's the step-by-step process, the blueprint for designing the layout, going from that first idea to a finished website?
Right, the practical steps. The source lays out a 6-step process, and interestingly, it starts really low tech. Step 1, put your initial idea on paper.
Pen and paper. Seriously.
Seriously, so many designers jump straight to software, but the source says design is about solving related problems, and that's often best done with proper layouts sketched first on paper. It forces you to think through the flow, the hierarchy, before you get locked into digital tools. Saves tons of revision time later, solidifies the vision early.
Back to basics. I like it. Map it out first, okay, after the paper sketch.
Step 2, sketch your top-level framework. This is where you start tackling navigation structurally. Define the UI that surrounds the content, the header, footer, sidebars, navigation bars, the consistent elements.
It's a skeleton of the site.
Exactly. It gives you the overall macro layout, ensures consistency across pages, building that reliable structure first.
Got it. Big picture structure first.
Yeah.
Then more structure.
Yep. Step 3, add a preferable grid. Sounds technical, maybe, but the source says it's very essential for your website to come out attractive and competitive. A grid organizes everything visually.
Makes it look clean and ordered.
Right. It structures the different sections, helps figure out screen sizes, makes templates responsive and consistent in spacing. It brings that visual harmony even if users don't consciously notice the grid itself.
The unsung hero of design. Okay, structure's in place.
Yeah.
What about the look and feel, the colors, the fonts?
Step 4, make a selection of typography. This is where you explore colors and typefaces that fit your brand. The source has a key rule. Use at most 2 typefaces.
Only 2 fonts.
Max. Too many just looks messy, confusing, amateurish, and can kill the whole idea of a perfect website. Choose fonts and sizes based on your audience and product. Playful for kids stuff, serious for business services,
Makes sense.
And interesting advice. Never shun from using large fonts. Make things easily visible, easy to read, crucial for engagement, especially on mobile.
Good practical tip. And it seems the source really wants to hammer home that point about media again here.
It does, yeah. It's repeated for emphasis. Videos, audio, graphics, only if they enhance the message. If they're unwarranted, they make the site ambiguous and indistinct, distract from the point.
Like that annoying video playing automatically.
Exactly. But used well, like a short product demo, they kill the monotony of written messages, make things way more dynamic. Purposeful media only.
Intentionality again. Okay, visuals decided. How do we arrange the actual content within that structure?
Step 5, divide the layout accordingly. This is about storytelling. Each section ought to tell a unique story. Think of the website as a journey. Keep layouts simple for easy navigation, and design them to tell stories from the most important to the least, like a logical path guiding the user.
Thinking of the website as a narrative. Powerful. Okay,
Okay.
final step after all that.
Step 6, and maybe the most crucial. Pay close attention to the fine details. It's a classic for a reason. The final product depends on how meticulous you were. In this competitive space, your site needs to be appealing. Meticulousness means checking everything: pixels, links, words.
Sweat the small stuff.
Absolutely. It helps you identify loopholes and work on them before users find them, gives you that edge. It's the consistent spacing, aligned images, clear buttons. Those details build trust and perceived quality.
Okay, so you followed the blueprint, built this great user-focused website. Now what? Just having it exist isn't enough, right? You need people to find it. You need to get seen, build trust.
Exactly right. The source is clear. A perfect website isn't enough unless you actively publish it on search engines and promote it. This is where marketing and search strategies kick in, bringing people to the storefront.
How do you jumpstart that visibility,
Huh?
especially for a brand new site with zero reputation?
For new sites, the source highlights pay-per-click, PPC, advertising as being proven to work best.
Like Google Ads.
Yeah, things like Google Ads. PPC has big advantages early on. First, your ads are immediately visible on search engine pages. Instant traffic. No waiting moment for organic SEO.
Okay, immediate exposure. What else?
Second, you can test varied keywords, selling techniques, prices, and headlines really efficiently. You get measurable results fast. See what messages work, which keywords convert, what prices sell.
That's huge. Like a real-time experiment lab for your marketing.
It really is, and the dual benefit is key. PPC doesn't just bring traffic your way immediately. It gives you data. It helps you find the keywords that work best for you, the ones that actually lead to sales, not just clicks.
Ah, the converting keywords.
Yes. Once you know those, you strategically sprinkle them throughout your website via your copy and code. And over time, that significantly enhances your ranking in search engines organically.
So PPC helps your long-term SEO too.
Absolutely. It's not just short-term traffic, it's a data-driven way to kickstart your long-term SEO strategy. Really smart.
Okay, that's a great insight. Paid informs organic. Now, beyond just getting traffic, how do you build that lasting reputation? The trust, the loyalty?
Good question. The source notes that most people online are basically doing data mining. They're looking for information, answers, solutions.
They want value.
Exactly. So the strategy is provide free expert information, give value away on other relevant sites. That drives traffic back to you and builds your authority. It's reciprocity, give value, get value.
Generosity pays off. What are some specific ways to build that reputation?
First, consistently provide free expert information. Write articles, make videos, create helpful guides, anything your audience finds gainful, be a source of solutions. Then share this content on article directories, relevant blogs, social media. Position yourself as an expert, not just a seller.
Become the go-to resource.
Precisely. Second, participate actively on social media platforms and forums where your target audiences spend most of their time.
Be where your people are.
Exactly. Listen, offer genuine help, join conversations, build rapport, build relationships. That encourages people to check out your site eventually. And crucial detail, always remember to attach the link to your website each time you submit articles or contribute.
The subtle call to action. The breadcrumb trail.
Yes. Consistent but subtle. You're weaving yourself into their online world. And third, simple but powerful. Always include share buttons on your contributions.
Make it easy for people to spread the word.
Right. Once people trust you, find your stuff valuable, they'll share it. That extends your reach organically through social proof. It's word-of-mouth marketing driven by the value you provide.
That flows nicely into email marketing, often underestimated but so powerful. Why is that opt-in list considered such a huge asset?
The source calls the opt-in list maybe the most valuable element on a website. That's strong language.
Why so valuable?
Because it's permission-based. Visitors choose to give you their email, subscribe to your newsletter or updates. They are explicitly giving you permission to send mails to them. This is the opposite of spam.
And having that permission, what does it unlock strategically?
It unlocks a direct line. First, you're sending them exactly what they asked for. They're receptive because they opted in. Way more effective.
Makes sense.
Second, it lets you create a lifelong relationship. Consistent, valuable emails, insights, offers nurture loyalty, keep you top of mind. Third, it's cheap. Email marketing is perhaps the cheapest mode of marketing compared to TV, radio, print. Huge savings long term.
Much lower cost per contact.
Way lower. And finally, responses can be measured. Open rates, clicks, conversions, you get clear data. You see what works, optimize your messages. It's direct, personal, measurable, scalable. Hugely powerful.
Lovely. Market established, site built, getting seen, nurturing leads with email. But the internet never sleeps, right? What's the final piece for long-term success in this constantly changing space?
This is absolutely vital. Continuously understanding your online marketplace. The source couldn't be clearer. Just building a good site and publishing it, not enough to stay competitive.
Complacency is dangerous.
Very. Many online businesses fail because of failure to understand the trends and operations of the marketplace. Whether you're new or established, you have to keep learning about the forces and operations within your marketplace. It's not a one-off task, it's ongoing intelligence.
Set it and forget it just doesn't work online.
Not at all. You need continuous monitoring, continuous adaptation. To stay relevant, you need to watch industry trends, monitor mentions of competitors, your own brand, keywords people use to find you. It's about knowing what's happening now and anticipating what's next.
So how do you keep track? What are some of these tools for market intelligence? Like a digital dashboard?
Exactly. For tracking trends and mentions, things like Google Alerts are great instant notifications for keywords or names. Also tools like Google Reader, though RIP, Reader, Feedly, PostRank, news aggregators that pull industry conversations and news to you save so much searching.
Keeping your finger on the pulse automatically. What about social media listening?
Crucial. Managing social media updates isn't just for posting, it's vital for getting feedbacks and surveys. Tools like Hootsuite or TweetDeck let you monitor multiple platforms, engage with people, track sentiment, gather insights in real time. Stay connected.
And identifying the key players, the influencers in your niche.
For finding influencers, there isn't one magic tool, but reputation platforms like Clout, PeerIndex, Cred try to measure influence. Also, using LinkedIn sector skills can help identify experts. Knowing who shapes opinions helps guide your strategy and outreach.
Makes sense. And knowing how customers search online, that seems fundamental for getting found.
Absolutely fundamental. Understanding customer search behavior means knowing the exact keywords and phrases they use. Google Keyword Planner is the starting point. But also tools like Google Webmaster Tools, no, Search Console, AdWords, Google Trends, Uber Suggest, KeywordTool.io, they all help you dig deep, find niche opportunities, optimize your content for how people actually search.
Speaking their language, essentially. What about watching the competition more closely? Not just their products, but their online performance.
Benchmarking competitor sites is key. How big is their audience? Where does their traffic come from? What strategies are working for the big players? Tools like Google Ad Planner, AdWords for ad insights, Google Placement Targeting Tool, and especially SimilarWeb give you this intel.
So you can learn from them.
Learn from their successes, spot their weaknesses, adapt your own approach, see how you stack up.
Right. Context is everything. And finally, pulling it all together, how do you measure if anything you're doing is actually working? The overall picture.
For that overall effectiveness, the big one is Google Analytics. It's incredibly powerful. It gives you data on traffic, user behavior, where they came from, what they clicked, how long they stayed, conversion rates, everything.
The command center for your website data.
Pretty much. It gives you that holistic view to see what's working, what's not, and make smart, data-driven decisions to keep improving. These tools aren't just data collection. They're for strategic, ongoing improvement in this constantly shifting marketplace.
So there we have it. Wow. We've really covered the ground, haven't we? From that initial spark, emphasizing finding the market need first,
Super important.
through building that compelling, user-focused website with the right tools, the right process,
Meticulously.
then getting seen, building trust through reputation and email.
That direct connection.
And finally, that absolute necessity of constantly understanding and adapting to the online marketplace.
This whole deep dive, it really equips you with those proven steps, those essential tools to handle the challenges and build something successful online. It's about being strategic, deliberate, and ready to adapt because the digital world, it never stands still.
So true. Your business can't either.
Nope.
And as we wrap up, that leaves us with a final thought. Something for you to mull over as you start or continue your own internet marketing journey. In this world of constant digital change, new platforms, shifting behaviors, AI impacting everything, what part of understanding your marketplace do you think will be the single most crucial aspect for survival, let alone growth, say 5 years from now, and why? Something to think about.